AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today's the second Friday of the month, which means it's time for the plant-based kitchenista, Chef Kelley Williamson. She's going to be making a plant-based coq au vin and a Sicilian cauliflower salad. She's mixing a French dish with an Italian dish. So we'll see how that goes. Please welcome her back to the show. Hey, Chef Kelley, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, before you get into the plant-based coq au vin, what is coq au vin? Because it's chicken normally, right?
It normally is. So it's basically a chicken. So it's a French chicken stew that is simmering and stuff in like red wine. So it's usually what it is. So there's lots of like they'll put like potatoes in it sometimes, and sometimes you'll see lots of mushrooms, sometimes lentils, that type of thing. But it usually I would say probably mushrooms, carrots, pearl onions, chicken, and like red wine and a whole bunch of different spices. What they
Yeah,
do.
pearl onions are so interesting because I've only ever seen those frozen.
Yeah, that's the only, well, I do no, we do see them like when it comes around Thanksgiving time, we do see them that are in little packets and they come like that right next to the onions, but they are a pain in the rear end when you're trying to, because you've got to peel off the outside. So you almost have to like blanch them first in really hot water, let them kind of like boil just for a couple minutes and then pull them out. And then you got to peel them all off. And they don't stay together really well. And so when you get them, when they're frozen, they're a lot easier. So I would always say go look for the frozen ones. They're easier.
Yeah. Yeah, they're cute. They're like little tiny
Yeah,
Is that the ones they put in martinis?
they do. Correct.
Yeah. Not that we're going to be making martinis here. Hey, Dixie's here. Hey, Dixie. Okay. Well, how do you figure out how to convert a chicken dish to a vegan dish?
So it's just more about the flavors because really what it's about the coq au vin is more of like what is the simmering flavor. So you've got like your tomato paste and then you're making it really thick because it's that stick in the ribs. And then it's looking at, the mushrooms, of course, that's just easy. Pearl onions and carrots, and then looking at like all the different spices. And then what are you going to substitute out for the chicken, which of course is lentils. And you could also say, well, I don't want to do lentils because I'm not a lentil fan. And you could also just do like little tiny, like little cube potatoes. So you could make it that way too. But it really is about the amount of spices because you've got the herbs de Provence. So you've got those, the different herbs and things like that in there. And that's what brings all the different flavors. So I did use, so just to let you know though, there is a little bit of, red wine. You can completely eliminate all the different the liquor ingredients if you want, because it is something that simmers in red wine. And you could use, take out the brandy, and then you can also take out the red wine and just use a red wine vinegar. So it's going to give you a little bit more kind of the umami, a little bit more of that. What am I trying to say? The vinegar flavor and stuff in there, but it's still going to be really good once you simmer everything together. So many different ways to do it, and truthfully, who cares, if it's not the actual like real coq au vin. You could put in broccoli, you could put in cauliflower, all these type of ingredients in it that just makes it just this hearty, stick to your ribs type of meal. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Without
So
further
I am
ado.
mixing a little bit of the French, kind of the French and the Italian together, but it's all going to go and it's all going to be pretty. So it's all good. Nobody would know the difference unless we pointed it out. All right. So ready to go?
You betcha.
Okay. So I'm going to start. So I'm going to get the coq au vin, and even though you see the AU, it goes, so in French and stuff, it goes like an O. So coq au vin is the actual name of it. So we're going to get started. We're going to start making that. And then I'm going to get the cauliflower in because I need that to be able to start roasting in the oven. So we're going to add a little bit of vegetable broth, or you can use water, either one, just to get everything sauteed up. All right. All right. And then you're following along with the recipe. So we've got garlic. So right now we've got 3 to 4 cloves of garlic that's minced. We're going to put those in there to get that sauteing. Just as a reminder, watch your garlic, because when you're actually cooking with garlic, if you have it on high and you don't watch it, you can burn your garlic. And if you've ever had something with burnt garlic in it, you'll know, because it's like really hot and then just a really weird flavor. So always watch your garlic. Don't overcook it. And then we're going to do the mushrooms. So any type of mushroom you can do. If you've got, all your different, your favorite flavors, you want to mix, 4 or 5 different types of mushrooms, do that. This is just a regular, usually it's like a button mushroom, but this is a regular, like a baby portobello. So all ready to go. And they're just nice, thinly sliced because they were definitely babies. And that is right now, it's 16 ounces. So one of your larger containers of the mushrooms that you see in the stores. You could also, if you have mushrooms that are frozen, and let's just say you're like, I've got a whole bunch of frozen mushrooms and I don't want to go to the store just to buy mushrooms, you can actually just let your frozen mushrooms thaw out and use them in this dish also. So a quick, easy way to make this if you don't have fresh mushrooms. All right, so we let those go. So while those are sauteing, let's get the cauliflower. Purple cauliflower. Isn't that pretty?
Oh
So
my
this
God,
is
beautiful. How do they
this is
get
a
it
dish.
to be, how do they get it to be purple?
I don't know. I think they just grow it that way. It's a really, really good question. I'll have to look it up. I'll have Jerry maybe look it up and see why. Because it's not something that they put like the you know, like when you do like your daisies and you wanted to have them to be colored and you'd put like food dye in there and it would soak it up. We'll have Jerry look at it. That's a really good question. But you know, you could do this recipe with the green, the white, and the purple cauliflower. So you can mix it up a little bit more. So just bite-sized pieces. This is just one medium head. And the cool thing about it too, and we'll talk about that in a minute, purple rice. So something pretty.
I just bought purple rice for the first time. I'm going to make it tonight.
Yep. We've got non-GMO purple rice. And that was what I've got there is probably only about half the container, which is really nice. Okay, so let me just give it a quick stir.
Cauliflower is not dyed.
Yeah, it's not dyed, so it's the way it's grown. Yeah. Because I would not take purple cauliflower if it was dyed. That would be something that's not good for your body. Okay, so we've got the oven going. So what we're going to do is got the cauliflower in the bite-sized pieces. So now we're on the cauliflower salad, just getting it ready. And we're going to add the vegetable broth. So we're just going to do enough just to coat it. You could also do water. And then we're going to add lemon zest. Add a lemon.
You know, I heard that carrots are originally purple and then they got hybridized by the Dutch, and that's how they became orange later on.
I can believe that because you know when you get the carrots that you know the carrots and stuff that you got, there's ones that have like the purple on the insides.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely do that. I could see that because you've got the white ones and the purple ones, the orange ones and the yellow ones. The white kind of white yellow, I'm not a fan of. To me, they don't have a lot of good flavor. But I
Wow.
like the purple ones. Those are good.
One of the viewers says, I just graduated from Escoffier with an associate's in plant-based culinary arts. I didn't know there was such a thing. Congratulations. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Wow. I didn't know they had that degree, but that sounds pretty amazing. Maybe you should come on the show and make something.
A little bit more vegetable broth. All right, so I've got the lemon zest and I've got the vegetable broth on the cauliflower. A quick little toss. And you could do it on parchment paper, still pat, anything that you want. I like the parchment paper just because I can throw it away after it's done and it's a less thing that I have to wash. So in it's going to go and we're just going to do it until it's fork tender. So probably 15, 20 minutes because I got the oven at 425. Okay. All right, so the mushrooms are looking good. Nice and cooked down. Let's start adding the rest of the vegetables and everything else. All right, so we're going to stir in the onion. So we were talking about pearl onions. You can buy these. You can actually, you know, strip them down yourself if you want. It is a lot of work when you're looking at, there's probably what, 30 onions in there, you know, to be able to boil them and then pull off the skins and things. I usually do it around Thanksgiving time is usually when I find them. Much easier just to do frozen. So these are just, I think, or Ida or something like that frozen. So pearl onions, nice, ready to go. If you don't have those and you're like, oh, I'm getting ready to make the recipe and I don't have them in the house, just use regular onions, whatever is your favorite. It's nice to see the little tiny onions in it, but you don't have to do that. Everybody will like it just with regular onions. All right, we've got carrots. So as I mentioned in the recipe, let's just say you're getting ready, you come home and you're like, I would really love this coq au vin and have it for the family or just yourself. If you don't, one of the things, if you don't want to wait, because it does take a lot of simmering, if you don't want to take all the simmering time, you can actually par steam your vegetables. So the carrots and stuff, so we could get through in the hour, I actually par steamed them. That way they're ready to go. And I probably only steamed them for like maybe 4 to 5 minutes at the most. And you can do either with the coq au vin, I just did the half rounds, but you could do, you could do long sticks. You could do, whatever type of cut you want on the carrots, whatever makes it pretty. So looking good already. All right, carrots. We've got tomato paste that we're going to put in. So the carrots and stuff, we're basically 2 cups of carrots. We're going to add the vegetable broth here in a second, but then we've got, right now, if we're looking at, so I'm just giving you the amounts. We've got tomato paste, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. What's really nice about tomato paste is instead of buying the little cans where you end up, they're 6 ounces, and you end up not using a lot of the can, and then you're trying to figure out what to do with the rest on a recipe like this, just buy the little tubes. And then that way you can, put in 2 tablespoons, put the cap back on the tube and put it back on the shelf. It's all good. I used to waste, felt like it was wasting a lot of tomato paste in recipes, but not anymore. Just a quick mix, move up that tomato paste. All right, and then we've got that in there. So then we're going to let it just kind of simmer for just a minute so it breaks down that tomato paste. We're going to serve this over mashed potatoes, but you could also do polenta. So depending on what's your favorite, whether you kind of want a little bit more of that corn taste or you want the potato taste. We are big potato fans here in this house, so we decided to go ahead and stick with the mashed potatoes. So those I've got boiling back here on the stove, and I'm watching those. So didn't want you guys to have to sit and watch for 20 minutes while they were boiling. So we've got them going. All right. We've got everything in there. So now we're going to pour in the broth. So we've got 2 cups. Another thing, vegetable broth always adds more flavor, but if you don't have it, water. Just use water.
It'd be good if we could see like what you're doing in the pan.
I know. I need to get, I've been talking to Jerry about trying to get to where we got a camera for that. So that's our next step.
Or one of those overhead mirrors like you see at culinary school.
Yeah. I agree. You hear that, Jerry? Yeah. He's the man behind the camera. All right, so you got the vegetable broth in. So normally, like I said, it's a fruity red wine and stuff that you're doing in this. So if you want to stay completely away from any type of liquor or anything like that, then just substitute in. I gave you that half a cup of red wine vinegar. That's going to give you that nice flavor with it, but not have the actual liquor or the wine. So this one is a mix of half and half. Because in the house with us, it's okay here, but like I said, you can always add that in. So we're going to add that, and it's completely going to cook. It's going to cook down. Like I had a little leak on that. All right, and then we've got so we've got the little bit of the brandy. So that's another thing. Like I said, it's got a little bit of liquor flavors in it, but it's all going to burn out. A little bit of brandy. Then we're going to go, and then we're going to start adding all the spices. So this is where it really makes that punch. And so you've got, if you're looking at this, and I'll add the lentils. Let me go ahead and add the 3/4 cup of lentils. If you don't have the green lentils, use the red lentils. It really doesn't matter. Just your favorite lentils, whatever you have. So as you can see, it's all starting to be really nice in a dark color, because your coq au vin is always usually a really kind of a dark, like a brown or almost like a reddish brown type of look. So herbs, You've got a quarter cup of parsley. You've got 2 tablespoons of thyme. You have 2 bay leaves, which I have right here. Put those in. And then you've got a little bit of the herbs de Provence. So this is something that I have in the house, but I don't always use a lot. I would say, so it's got, so it's basically savory fennel. So you get your fennel, you've got a little bit more of your thyme, your rosemary, and your lavender. So as you can see, not used it a lot, but it's good in dishes like this. So in the bottom, I didn't have fresh parsley, but in the bottom I had fresh thyme. So there is fresh thyme in here, and then the parsley. And I'm not a big fan. I've never been a big fan of parsley. When you add big chunks of it into salads and things, never been one of my favorites. And then we got basically 1 teaspoon of the herbs. So the fennel is going to add that really nice flavor too. I really like it.
I like Italian parsley better than the curly parsley.
I agree with that too. I'm just not like if it's in things and it's cooked, I'm good. But when it's like sitting on salads and they just add like a whole bunch of garnish and stuff, just never been a big fan of it. Didn't grow up with it. So it's one of those tastes I've never really acquired for parsley.
It's good for people that don't like cilantro.
And see, and I don't like cilantro. So it's probably why I don't like parsley. All right. Then we're gonna let that simmer. That there, and let me grab the lid. And we'll watch that. If for some reason, like some of your vegetable broth, because vegetable broth tends to burn off a lot quicker. If it starts getting like a little low, just add a little bit more vegetable broth or water. That's all you need to do just to watch it. But it's definitely about kind of low simmer, and that's what coq au vin is a lot about, especially when they call it like chicken stew. All right, so we've got that. Now we're gonna look at the potatoes and just check the cauliflower. It's looking great. So we have, of course, just potatoes chopped up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain them here, and then we are going to make the mashed potatoes. And I made more than that the recipe says, just because we like mashed potatoes here. So if we have them extra left over and we don't have any more coq au vin, they still will get eaten. All right. Grab my bowl. Just throw this over to the side. All right, so nice steamed potatoes. Nothing better, truthfully. This is one of the ones and stuff when I make them just like this. A lot of times and stuff, what you'll see is like Jerry over here with a fork and just grabbing the potatoes without anything on them, just because they're, once you get used to the low salt or no salt at all, and the like black pepper, potatoes are so sweet. Lovely. All right, so we have plant-based milk. 2 different ways you can do your mashed potatoes. Of course, you can either heat up the milk and have it low simmering on your stove, and you can add it into it. Or this one actually is I just got it right out of the fridge. This is soy milk, but you could use, almond milk, hemp milk, whatever your heart desires out there. It really doesn't matter, whatever's your favorite. So I know because everybody has preferences. We're so used to, soy milk was one of the things that was available for plant-based milk long time ago. So we just got really used to soy. So not vanilla flavored though. That's the one thing. Keep the vanilla out of the potatoes. All right, let me grab my hand blender. If you don't have this, of course, just a regular potato masher works really well. But I love the silkiness of what you can get from a hand blender. All right, so I'm going to add, so it calls for about 3/4 cup. So I'm just going to add about 1/4 cup at a time, because you may or may not, depending on your potatoes, may or may not need, I'll pull it up here, may or may not need that much moisture.
Oh, so you whip them with a hand beater. That doesn't get them too gummy?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Does the hand beater get them a little bit too gummy?
No, it doesn't. If you put like if you end up doing it this way and then you put too much of the plant-based milk in it, it will make them gummy. But no, these make the most wonderful, smooth, and creamy mashed potatoes with the hand mixers. Love it. And also to let you know, reason why I didn't have the usually I leave skins on, but this one and stuff, because for some reason and stuff, the potatoes we got, the skins were really tough and they're almost like chewy. This last batch and stuff. So I took the skins off this time. But otherwise, normally, as I know you were advertising, what was it, scrappy cooking or something that leave the skins on. They were just, this batch was rubbery for some reason.
I find that Yukon, what's your favorite potato for making mashed potato?
Actually, either one, either Yukon or russet. Those are the two. I know a lot of people like the red potatoes, but I would say Yukon makes them sweeter, and they just you have less things that you have to add to it. But the russet and stuff holds up really well. So either one is really good. And then you can also do sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes mashed, delicious. All right, let me just grab these here quick and I'll mix it up.
She's really cooking. Kelley goes to Rancho La Puerta with us. If you guys want to go, we have 2 spots left. And guess who's coming with me? None other than the hammer himself. It's going to be great.
That will be fun. So there is the mashed potatoes. All nice and creamy. And I'll show you what that. Very creamy without anything in it. So this is where, you could add the salt if you wanted to. I don't. If I want any salt and stuff, I put it on the table. But then black pepper is always really good. But since we're going to have so many flavors and stuff in the coq au vin, I'm just going to leave them very basic, which is really nice.
Mona would like to know if there is a substitute for brandy for that flavor.
There is brandy flavorings that are out there. The only place that I've seen that you can purchase them would be like on Amazon. So it's like, when they have like lemon flavor and vanilla and all those type of things, there is one for brandy. I've seen that. That would be the substitute. It's one it adds a really nice flavor, but it's not necessarily 100% needed. I did this up. There's this thing. So I'll show you really quick. Get this out of here. Starting to cook up, get really nice. Like I said, if your liquid starts going down a little bit, just add a little bit more vegetable broth. So flavor wise, and like I said, not the white wine, but the fruity red wine, the brandy haven't really cooked out yet, but it's got a really nice flavor. It's more of tastes almost like not really a red sauce because it has a tomato paste in there, but if it is like more on that family, but more of a really, really light type of a red sauce, which is really good. But we haven't thickened it up yet either. So, all right, just let it keep simmering a little bit. Let me check my cauliflower. Couple more minutes. Let me grab a lid really quick for the potatoes so they don't get cold. Gary's excited. He's already behind the camera drooling because he loves the potatoes. All right. So the cauliflower is going to be done here in just a minute or two. All right, then we've got, so a couple things that I just wanted to show you, some things that we've really gotten into. Microgreens. So these are some of our favorites. We get these at Whole Foods, but if you don't have a Whole Foods, if you've got a farmer's market, microgreens are really fun right now. And they're really good. So the favorite one that we're going to use a little bit is microgreens, the broccoli. So it definitely has, like, if you're trying it, you can see like the little tiny pieces. It's very delicate. It's almost like a shamrock, what it looks like, but very, very good. And we use it on like all of our burgers, salads. I'll put it on top of the, for the prettiness of the coq au vin. But my favorite is the microgreen sunflower shoots. So if you've not had sunflower shoots, they are, and if you say, I'm not a big fan of microgreens, they're just too earthy, as a lot of people would say. The sunflower shoots, and you can actually, I'll find one here. Some of them still have the little sunflower seed that's on them that you can eat like that, but they're can be very large, but they're very, very sweet. So if you're trying to get into the microgreens and add them to all your different dishes, you could start with like if you can find the sunflower shoots. But look around at your farmers markets, the ones we have here, they have like radish flavor, they have wasabi. So if you want something that's really spicy, you could add into the wasabi, which is really cool. But Jerry's is broccoli. That's his favorite. So I'm just keeping them wrapped in a towel just to keep them cool as we're going to be using them. You can already see the lentils and stuff starting to try to open up a little bit. So those are everything's looking good there. Let me grab the cauliflower out.
Yeah, Joyce, there is a Chef AJ discount because it's group rates, but you have to contact the ranch because every room is completely different. So there's no one price. Really, they have tiny rooms to huge suites, just kind of like on a cruise ship.
Yeah, and we talked about the food, because the food there, there's so much food that you can eat. Like in the mornings, and we were just talking stuff right before we got on and stuff. In the mornings, I usually, like the first morning, I went and ate breakfast, and then did a bunch of juices, because they're juices out of this world, like guava juice and all those kind of things. But then I went exercising right after that and had all kinds of classes. That mixing a lot of food and exercising for me, not a good thing. So the rest of the week and stuff, I definitely did not do any of the breakfast and stuff, but I always, hit the juice and those type of things, because they had that pretty much all day long. But then when you got to like your lunches, the amount of like rice and salads and their soups are phenomenal. And they have great dressings that we tried there that were really, really good. And, potatoes and vegetables and all kinds of things. It's really fun. And then they had, what was it, like 7 salsas or something like that there?
Every day they make so many fresh ones, the red, the green, the spicy, the pico. It's so delicious.
Yeah. So like if you're a person that's like, I want, and I'll just say like this, I'll grab this bowl. I'm hungry, I didn't do lunch or I didn't do breakfast, and I want a bowl this big and they have bowls like that. You could, pile it with rice and potatoes or whatever else that they serve it with. And then you could just, heap it with your vegetables, and you could put, you could grab a couple of the salads and put them all together. But it's like, if you like, I would consider what I consider after lunches, like power bowls, that's the place to go, because there's so many options and so many flavors and all those things to put together that I promise you will not go away hungry. There was so many times and stuff where it's like, Chef, I remember you were like, eat some more of this. I'm like, I can't eat anymore, because you fill up so quick. And then they have, of course, desserts and, fruit and all kinds of things like that. And then the dinners and stuff were great too. The same thing. They'd always brought out potatoes and sweet potatoes and vegetables, and just, there was so much to eat that I couldn't eat as much, type of a thing. So food's really good. That's what I say. And then there was always the one time the popcorn night. That was good too. So, all right. So there's the purple cauliflower. So like I said, it just had vegetable broth and a little bit of lemon. So it gives you that little bit of punch and stuff to your cauliflower, which is really nice. So I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit. Put it over here. Ingredients for the salad.
If you guys want the recipe, it's below the show notes, which you only can see on YouTube. There's a link.
Perfect. Especially if you're coming up to a weekend and you want something that, you know, you could make like on a Sunday or something like that. You could make it for the family and have leftover. This is one of those kind of like perfect recipes to do that because, you know, when you're home on a Sunday and you're not rushing, then it's really nice to be able to, you know, just put something on the stove and let it simmer and you can, you know, then the house starts smelling really good. And yeah, then you get, you know, all your family coming in going, oh, what is that smell? That smells so good. Let's show what it looks like. Jerry never complains about when Saturdays and Sundays, when especially Sundays when I make a whole bunch of stuff. Sorry about the dog barking. We're babysitting a little Maltese. It's looking like so far. Keep simmering for a little bit. So the cauliflower salad. So we've got the purple cauliflower that I showed you just a few minutes ago. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start building it. So in a pretty bowl, of course, don't have to do pretty bowl. Got red leaf lettuce. If you don't have red leaf, anything works. You know, any of your favorite lettuces, or even mix it up. We always, you know, and I showed during some of the bundles and stuff. We always have two big plastic bins full of, one of them's red leaf, and then the second one is always the romaine. Those are our two favorites. So we're always mixing salads that way. But this is 100% red leaf. And the cool thing about it, even though it's red, says red leaf, it's got the purple. So that purple theme with the purple cauliflower and all that all comes together. All right, so we've got everything in there. So we got the rice. So the rice, grab another spoon. So this is the purple rice that we were talking about just a few minutes ago. There's all kinds of different colors and flavors of different rice. I've had this one for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months and stuff in this box. So the box and stuff, the one I have is American Farm purple rice. And I used probably about half of it. The nice thing about it is some of the purple rice that you get out there it actually looks more like a black color once you cook it. And I just did this in the Instant Pot. So it says normally that you've got 1 cup of rice to 2 1/4 cups of water, and then you put it in there to boil for about 45 minutes on the stove. If you've got an Instant Pot, I actually put it in the Instant Pot, same amount of water, everything else, and I cooked it for, I think it was, what did I do? 25 minutes. And since it's pressurized, it all comes out and it's purple and pretty and looks great. So if you don't have purple rice and you want to just use, you know, brown rice, whatever, just please use whatever you want. You're still going to get that same flavor. This is just more because it's pretty. So I always look at things as eye candy. All right, so we're going to add the grains. They've been cooled down, so you could cook these a couple days ahead of time if you wanted to. And I think I'm going to use a glove so then that way I can sprinkle it out. And sometimes, you know, your rice sticks together a little bit and I don't want clumps. So, but you could also do this if you didn't want to do the lettuce. I know it's all about, you know, eating your greens and things, but if you didn't want to do lettuce, you could actually just make all this hot. So you could do the cauliflower, the rice, and then you would have like a hot salad. Just mix it all in. I'll leave a little bit because I'm going to when I put the cauliflower on, that'll help with that. So topping wise, there's, you know, a couple different toppings and we're going to make the dressing here in a second, but the normal and stuff is going to be capers. So you're going to get a little bit of that, kind of that vinegar flavor a little bit. If you don't like capers, please just leave them out. And then, and I can never pronounce this. These are Italian. So these are, and I wish I had my Italian friend here. Costa la Trevano. Let me grab them here. I'll show you what so Costa la Trano pitted green olives. They don't taste like green olives. I am not a fan of green olives, but they are, of course, green. they taste more on the family of the black olives, which are really nice. So I just sliced those up. So we're going to put those on. Rice sticking. So even before I do anything else, how pretty. Got the purple rice in there. Don't even have the purple cauliflower in there yet. All right. And then we've got the capers. So add in your capers, sprinkle those around. They're very tiny. If you've never had capers, you find a good representative of them. Come in little jars and stuff, but they are definitely, it's an acquired flavor. And like I said, they're definitely more on the vinegar side, but they add, when you're doing something that's more like has a little bit more of a sweet dressing, they add a really nice flavor. And really where capers are really good too, in one recipe, is capellini pomodoro. So when you're doing like a really nice tomato sauce and stuff for spaghetti capellini pomodoro, capers are really good in it because it gives you that little bit of that sweet and a little bit of that tang, which is beautiful. All right, so we've got that in there. So we've got the olives, we've got the capers, we've got some scallions, and we're going to save some of those for decoration also.
Where do capers come from? Because I've never seen them without, I've never seen them not jarred with salt. Have you?
Yeah. They're usually, I guess, packed in Peru. So a product of Morocco, Peru. That's usually how they come. So they're usually like a jar like this is about $3.99 to $4.99. And truthfully, when you buy a jar like this, unless you really, really like vinegar flavor and want to put it in all your dressings, it'll last you a long time. So
Yeah, but what are they? I mean, they come from, yeah. Oh, Struthi says, wonder if purple rice has anthocyanin like blueberries.
let's look.
Yeah, Joyce, you can't look up Rancho La Puerta for my private group. You have to contact my representative that's putting the group together. There's nothing to look up, but I could get you a landing page if you want her information and post that. So, yeah, it's not open to the public necessarily. Gotta know Chef AJ. Capers come from the juniper plant. Okay, thanks, Ronnie. Is that where actually, Donna, I gotta get glasses. Man, I mean, I do have them. I do have them. I just don't like to wear them. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I get that.
But what was I gonna say? Everything tastes better in purple. But juniper, is that where gin comes from? The alcohol called gin?
I don't know, because I don't know a lot about alcohol.
Yeah, me neither.
I was gonna ask Jerry, but he's looking at me like, I don't know. All right, let's put some of the purple cauliflower on there. Now I'm going to come back in so you can see it. Add in the purple rice. The other type of things that you can add onto this, if you want even a little bit more vinegar, is pickled onions. So you can get more of that kind of like that fuchsia pink, a little bit of the purple with that. I would say I'm not a big fan. A little bit of pickling goes a long way with me. So I'm like, nah, we'll stay away from the pickling today.
I love pickled ginger like they make for sushi, and it always has salt and sugar, but I just haven't found one that tasted good without it. I haven't found one without it, to be honest.
Didn't you say you're having somebody, because I just watched
Yeah,
your
but
video.
not until June. The chef Julia Dunaway, who wrote a plant-based Japanese book, is going to do that. So can't wait to learn. Somebody made a great suggestion, though, taking ginger, thinly slicing it yourself and marinating it in California balsamic ginger vinegar. I thought that was a great suggestion. Cutting it on a middle and doing
That'd be good.
Yeah. I eat a little sugar and salt. I mean, if it's in a condiment, not like, on my food.
I would say, yeah, when I do the, I don't have a lot of the pickled, I don't have the pickled ginger here at the house, but if we go get sushi, because we have a sushi restaurant that we can go to, and they'll make like soy paper, avocado sushi. They make all kinds of vegetable sushi. They'll make like a mango one. They make a cucumber, and it's really good. So those are some things that I really like. But I'm a soy paper person versus the actual nori.
I never even heard of soy paper. Is that the inari?
Yeah.
Is that the inari that I've seen on the menu?
Yeah, they actually just because like everyone recipe the restaurants we've been here in town. I was trying to see if I could find it really quick, but soy paper, they have one that's my favorite. Usually it's like in a pink or a blue or a yellow color. You'll see that when they're making the soy that like they're making like avocado and stuff for people that don't like the nori. But they actually had one at the restaurant that we go to a lot, and it was red pepper flakes in soy paper. And so when you did like an avocado roll and then you had the red pepper flakes on the outside, it was so good because you get a little bit of that kind of heat, but then you've got the really creaminess and stuff of the avocado, which was really good. And I'll grab, I think I have soy paper really close that I can look at. Yep. So this just came off of, so this is sesame. This just came off of Amazon. And this one's pretty too.
I've never seen those.
Yep, you can buy them off of Amazon. So let's see, I'll just look at so
that's different than the rice paper, right?
yeah. Yep, that's what so it's pretty much just like like sesame seeds and soybean flour, all that. That's pretty much it. But that's one of them that I really like. But the one with, if you can find the one with the red pepper flakes, that's the one you want. That's wonderful if you like a little bit of heat. Yeah, so we make sushi. I wouldn't say I'm the best at rolling it, but we make sushi here at home. Throw that over there. All right, so before I make the dressing, so we're going to do that here. That's what the salad looks like. And I agree, everything tastes better in purple. You can also add a little bit of almonds, just for some color. But you don't have to. You could also add pistachio nuts. A little bit. All right, so we'll just set that aside. Let me do a taste. Everything's looking good. Okay. Need a few more minutes, lentils. That's what's going to take the longest on making this is your lentils and stuff, because you want to make sure that they're soft. Okay, don't need that anymore. All right, so just real a really good one. Prosecco, which is really fun. So we're going to do 4 tablespoons, and I'm just going to eyeball it. So this is more of a white dressing versus like the dark balsamic dressings. Then you could do, so you could do anything. You could do a little bit of agave. You could do maple syrup. You could do date paste. You could do the date syrup. You could do any of those different ones. And like I said, I just realized I didn't pull the dressing information or pull the sample. So let me just grab a couple of them. I'll just use agave because it's a little bit quicker. So your 1 tablespoon. That there. Then we've got Grey Poupon mustard and flax seeds. Grey Poupon, love Grey Poupon. Add as much or as little Grey Poupon as you want. If you want it really, like really mustardy, this is the best. So we're going to do about a tablespoon, give or take. My favorite, Grey Poupon. And then we're going to do a table. So then we're going to do a teaspoon of ground flax seeds. And you're going to say, well, why are you doing ground flax seeds? They're good for you. But by adding those in, when you know, like if you're making like an egg, so a flaxseed egg, when you add the water to it, it gets really thick. And so being able to put it into the dressing, it's going to give you that thickness. So instead of having, where it's just like the balsamic vinegar and it like floats all to the bottom of your salad, by adding the flaxseed and stuff, it thickens it up, which is really nice. You remember this blender? Let's show you.
Looks like a Vitamix.
Remember that the last summit we did? Or got cracked? Still have it. It still works. That's the thing about Vitamix. It's like you could crack it on the inside and it doesn't leak on the outside. It's really good. But I needed something small. Mix it up. If you're dressing the next day, let's say that you only use part of it today, and then tomorrow you want to use some more dressing and it thickens up a little bit, just add a little bit of water to it and then just mix it up with a spoon and it goes right back to the consistency of the dressing. Because every once in a while, stuff your flax seeds will make it a lot thicker. I love dark balsamic dressings, but a white, like a light colored, white colored balsamic dressing just has that kind of like tardiness, but also lightness, which I really, really like. That's what the dressing looks like. Just a nice dressing. Like I said, it's not real thick right now because the flax seeds haven't taken effect, but even then, it's definitely thicker and stuff than just a regular just balsamic vinegar. I guarantee you try this dressing, you'll make like double batches of it and you'll keep it in mason jars. Very good. All right. I'm going to thicken it up now. As you can see, it's got all the liquid in it. So we're going to pull out the bay leaves. There's one. Let me put in two. I know I put in two. Yeah, I don't. Interesting. Don't see it. All right. Like we were talking about earlier, if you could actually, if you decide you don't want to do lentils, feel free to add like little cube potatoes. If you don't want to have to even cube up the potatoes, you can also buy them, where they're frozen little cubes. So you could add potatoes in there. You could add, potatoes and lentils. It's all about having the flavors and then be able to have it over mashed potatoes, which is nothing better.
Everything's good over mashed potatoes.
And just even nothing on mashed potatoes is good. So I 100% agree with that. All right, we're gonna grab a spoon so I can dish it up. That's one of my favorite. I mean, I love potatoes. I love baked potatoes when they're good. Not like I'm not a big fan of microwave baked potatoes, but I will eat them. But anything that's like really good baked potatoes, but my favorite, because that's what I grew up with and it was a comfort food, mashed potatoes and corn. That's Kansas. That's how I grew up.
And they're even good together.
Yes, I'm actually I need to thicken up the sauce first. Let me grab a saucepan. So if you're following along, we're going to add the vegetable broth. So we've got more vegetable broth here. We've got a couple tablespoons. I'm going to eyeball it. Almost used a whole box. That. All right. And then we've got, so this is to make the roux. So we've got that in there. And then we're going to actually add the flour. So we've got the regular flour. And this reminds you, it should remind you of like when your mom used to make gravy. Coming from Kansas, we had a lot of things with gravy, like the white gravy. And so my mom would always make the roux, but she'd always have the mason jar and shake it up. But we won't do it in a mason jar today. But you're just wanting to whisk it up into the actual room temperature vegetable broth, because you want to make sure you don't get the lumps. Nothing worse than putting something in here and getting lumps. If you've ever had lumpy gravy,
Not
they
really.
just put the
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't-
What were you gonna say, Chef AJ?
No, I haven't had lumpy gravy. I've been
Never
blessed.
had? Then somebody's been good around you and stuff
Yeah.
that's made sure.
I just make sure I whisk it really good.
Yeah. I've been in places and stuff where it's had lumpy gravy, and it's just because they put either the flour or the cornstarch right directly into it, and then hope that with the whisking and everything that they could actually make it good, but doesn't happen. So it just looks like a little bit darker milk. So then I'm going to add a little bit of the ingredients here just to temper it. That. And now I'm going to add it, and I'm going to actually add the rest of the vegetable broth since I don't have that much left. Just a little bit more moisture. Done. Now I'm going to pour in the roux. Let it simmer for just a couple of minutes, because then it'll start thickening up. And that's going to give you, so like if you're thinking about a chicken stew, you've got the thickness of the sauce that's around it. This is how it's going to give you the thickness of the sauce, which is exactly what you're looking for.
Have you ever made a roux without flour?
I've done it with cornstarch, but I've not. It's like tapioca starch, cornstarch, all those and stuff, but not without the flour, because you need. I was trying to think, what else could you use for a thickening agent? You could probably use, what you could do, and this is what I do for all my soups, is I take white beans and I actually grind those up and stuff blend them up into the blender. And so like any of my minestrones, vegetable soups and stuff, I add them. So after they're, definitely with all the, I'm trying to say the no salt sauce and everything else that's around the liquid, blend those up, put them into the soups, and you get that extra bean flavor. You could do that here. That'd be a way and stuff to do just beans and not necessarily use any flours if you're allergic to it or didn't like to use flour.
What I do to thicken things sometimes is a small piece of Yukon Gold potato or some cooked brown rice blended.
I could see that. Yeah, that would actually be good. Yeah. Adding just like if you ever just the white cannellini beans and then blend those up and put them in soups, the best thing in the world. Thickens them up, but it also gives just these wonderful flavors. But I didn't think about the Yukon Gold. So are you just taking the Yukon Gold potato then and blending it up, or are you just putting it in there?
I think it's a fabulous thickener of just about everything. A cooked one, that is,
Yeah, I would agree and stuff. But that's actually a great idea. I've never tried that. That's going to be my next thing. I'm just going to blend it a little bit. All right, let's get everything out of the way. We get some space. That one for that. So I'm going to make it kind of fun. So grab my plate. Grab my spoon.
Guys, have any questions for Kelley? Put them in the chat. Oh, let's see. I got to start wearing glasses and just keep them on. They're so annoying. Key says, I need a cauliflower recipe. Glad to see it. Oh, Truthy says, I like kuzu for thickening. It's gluten-free. That's a great idea.
Very good idea. All right, let's grab all this out of the way. Put it in the way. I'm gonna grab my microgreens. You can see I just put the potatoes in a little dish just to give it just, so it just kind of fits nicely on the plate. And you could do, you could do the swirls, you could do all those fun things. We're not going to do that today. All right, carve this out. Before I do anything, see the nice thickened sauce. Yum. All right.
That looks good.
I love anything that's like, I always call it stick to your ribs. I think that's like a Kansas term, but anything that's, that you eat and you feel like it's just like you're full is wonderful. A little bit more sauce on this side just to make it balanced. All right. Then you could do a little bit of scallions if you want. I think I'm actually going to just do the microgreens. Boom. You could also do a little bit of black pepper. And that's so I don't get it all over the plate. You could also, if you have all kinds of different things with it, you could add, all kinds of different other vegetables with it. And then the salad. So let me just do a drizzle of dressing. That's our next thing. And somebody's not going to be able to stay with us when we cook now. Babysitting. Because the white balsamic dressing is the best. All right, so we've got everything ready to go. And so there's our coq au vin over mashed potatoes. So this is plant-based. So we have, we have the tomato paste, we have your lentils in there, you have your carrots, your mushrooms, you have, it's a little bit hard to see and stuff, but you have your pearl onions because they've actually picked up the coloring and everything. And then the beautiful sauce over mashed potatoes, which, like I said, then we were talking about earlier, anything over mashed potatoes is the best. So I think Jerry's probably got a spoon or a fork ready for that. And then the Sicilian cauliflower salad. So there you go. So you've got your cauliflower, you've got your you've got the olives, a little bit of capers in there, red, you've got the cauliflower, your purple rice, and all that ready to go. And then a really kind of tangy light dressing.
The salad it's so beautiful.
Isn't it? And truthfully, if you think about it, it's just the color of the lettuce. So because you've got the red leaf lettuce, and then it's the purple. I mean, you could even if you put like white brown rice, or just either kind of like that, and just added in your purple cauliflower, it just makes it so pretty. It's beautiful. But these two things, dinner.
You are
Lovely.
amazing. When is Chef Kelley's restaurant opening?
That is a hard business to be in.
Really is. How about Chef Kelley's food delivery service?
That's actually, because we talked about that. I started that with our neighbor. So I've been every Sunday and stuff, but she's been out of town for the last 2 weeks that I'm trying her with all the recipes. Like, what do you like? Because she's very, she likes certain foods and then doesn't like certain foods. And she's definitely not into beans at all, which is hard because, even lentils and things like that it's hard to think about, like, just like different soups and things. So been experimenting with her and I'm like, what do you like? What do you not like? And, different muffins and all kinds of different things and stuff. So hopefully I'm planning probably in the next maybe few months and stuff, like starting to talk to more people. And because we live in a 55 plus, and there is a lot of people that are, that of course are seniors, but at the same time and stuff that they don't, there may be like just a husband that's living in the house or a wife or something, and they don't like to cook. So that's where we're going. Yeah.
Well-
Lots of soup, salads, casseroles, fun dishes and stuff, but really good things. But something like this, if you put this at a food delivery and stuff, I guarantee you nobody would complain. So I definitely would take the wine out and stuff, and I would use the red wine vinegar. But yeah, the flavor, like I said, now that everything's all thickened up.
I just want the salad because the color is just, everything looks better and tastes better in purple, if you ask me.
I agree. We have the kind of the browns and the oranges and stuff, and then the purples. But yeah, just with the purple rice and everything else, it's a beautiful salad. Yeah. That's why we kind of mix the French and the Italian together.
Nice. A fusion. We love fusion.
Exactly. They all get along. It's great. We're all good. So
And you're coming back before Mother's Day, so maybe we'll have like a Mother's Day brunch or something. Yeah.
definitely could do that. I tend to, it seems like that a lot of my times and stuff when I'm on, I was always right before the holidays. So that's good. That's fun though. I like that.
That's good. Well, thank you so much, Chef Kelley.
Thank you.
And where can people find you the most?
So I would say on Meetup is where I advertise everything. So it's Healthy Plant-Based Cooking Classes Denver is where you can do it. And if you can't find it, just email me at Kelley, Kelley, at plantbasedkitchen.com and I'll send it over to you and stuff. But we advertise everything that we're doing there as far as like classes. And if we're doing anything, if you're not in Colorado, but anything in person, Jerry does nutrition classes and all those kind of things. It's all on that site. Or you can do it www.plantbasedkitchenista.com. So
Nice.
yeah,
we have that
barista
information.
kitchenista.
That information is in the show notes below. All right. Well, Jerry, enjoy your dinner.
Yeah. It's a late lunch.
Thanks. Thank you guys. So appreciate your expertise and your beautiful food. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Come back a bit earlier tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time for Moving Medicine Forward with Dr. Michael Clapper and Dr. Zach Burns. And they're going to be talking about whether or not ChatGPT knows more about dietary disease reversal than your own doctor. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelley. Thank you, Jerry. Enjoy.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.